Do you think Isaiah is ducking the Celtics by sitting out tonight?
Absolutely not. I don't think he's ducking them at all. I think, and we talked about this earlier in the week, I think this is not his decision. I think this is the Cavs and the medical staff protecting him, and that's the whole reason they played him last night as opposed to tonight. It was a back-to-back. It's an easy sell. You get him some minutes, you play great, and then you rest him. If this was his first game back, you would be tempted. There's going to be a minute restriction. What happens if he plays 19 minutes like he did last night? It's the fourth quarter, and there's 4 minutes left, and it's a close game, back and forth, and Isaiah is begging you, let me beat my old team. Let me get in there.
Yeah.
And you don't want him to extend himself in a situation that could put him at greater risk moving on. I think this is the smart decision for the Cavs.
We're on totally different sides here, Danny. I think Isaiah Thomas is being so petty over this whole thing. He's still bitter that he got traded out of Boston. And I like Isaiah Thomas. Great guy. Kids easily root for him. But, dude, they didn't trade you to Sacramento, okay? You're in Cleveland with LeBron. Get over yourself and just show up in Boston and get it over with, right? Do it now so that, guess what, the next time they're in Boston, it's like Paul Pierce tribute night. So you're not going to get the ovation that night. And then what, you're going to wait for the Eastern Conference Finals? And then it's going to be a big to-do. Like, just get it over with, rip the Band-Aid off, suck it up. Kristine, I just feel like he's being petty here.
You're right in that it is not Isaiah Thomas's decision. It's LeBron's decision.
Ooh.
And I'm going to give you exactly why. This is LeBron controlling everything. Since LeBron left Miami, the Cavs have gone to Miami 6 times. LeBron has missed half of those games, including 3 of the last 4. So he is a very big proponent in not giving the fans what they want, especially on a nationally televised game. Don't give us the Isaiah Thomas, Kyrie back in Boston game. That's very much like LeBron to do. And is it crazy to think that LeBron did not want the spotlight off of him tonight? And I just want to point this out.
Coming in hot.
Did you guys see his New Year's Eve Snapchat or Insta story, what
did
LeBron
watch
did
it,
on New Year's Eve? I think we have the video and we can play it. It is LeBron for hours at the New Year's Eve party with his teammates and family, giving himself videos, putting the camera on him and rapping for 10 minutes of content over the span of hours. That's how he spent the night.
He does that a lot.
I love that.
All the attention on him.
Unusual.
He does that all the time.
Stop it.
That is my point. He wants the attention on him.
This is straight LeBron James hate. When he went to Miami and he first went back to Cleveland, did he not give the fans what they wanted? It was the ugliest return homecoming we've ever seen.
So what happens the next 3? That was a coincidence?
Miami, look, so you think LeBron went to the Cavs and said, don't let IT play?
Absolutely.
Oh, my gosh. Stop it. Let me finish. This is utterly ridiculous. Teams do not, as a habit, as a rule, send an injured player back for his first game in an emotional, highly charged, hold on, let me finish, nationally televised game. So if the Cavs are sitting there and they say, he's not playing back-to-back, he could come back against Portland, or he can come back against Boston, they're not going to choose Boston, just like the Golden State Warriors said a week or 2 in advance. Steph Curry's first game back will not be Cleveland on Christmas Day. That's the rule in the NBA. It's not about him being afraid to, or LeBron. It's certainly not about LeBron. It's got nothing to do with LeBron.
I 100% agree with you that it doesn't make sense for him to come back against Boston.
Okay, so how's it LeBron's fault?
But you're going to have him come back the day before against Portland? Like, Damian Lillard is not just an easy player to go up against.
It's not about the player you're going against. It's about the hype of the game.
Even the hype. You're telling me that they decided he had to come back on this game and they couldn't just wait 2 more. They're sending a clear message.
You're trying to win a championship. You want to get this back. You want to get this guy back as soon as possible. You're not worried about let's wait 2 more games.
The Celtics game? No way.
This is basketball. It's not a soap opera, Kristine.
He played 19.
My goodness.
Actually, I don't know.
He played 19. With LeBron, it is.
Yeah, it is.
That is right.
19 minutes. 17 points. He looked great.
He did.
Why not play again?
Now rest him.
Good
He's got his
point.
hip. He's got to get
And
healthy.
you know what?
Dr. Danny.
Kelly Olynyk got a video, a tribute video. I would like to see the Isaiah.
Kelly
You'll get it someday down the road.
Olynyk got it.
Everybody gets a tribute
If Olynyk got one, Isaiah better get one.
All right. J-Mac, you think he's happy Kyrie is gone?
I got to say yes, Danny. First of all, that Jackie McMullen story today, we all read that. Tremendous piece of journalism, and it kind of speaks to the problems. Listen, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you want it to work out, you kind of let it work out, right? You do anything you can to keep the person, and it's pretty clear LeBron did not do everything in his power to keep Kyrie Irving, even though Kyrie hit the most clutch shot maybe in NBA history, certainly in Cavs franchise history. How would you not want to keep that guy? To me, I'm just absolutely puzzled by why LeBron didn't do everything in his power to keep him.
Well, he's one of the greatest players we've ever seen, but he's also super passive-aggressive, and he has an ego that he likes people to bow down to.
He's a
And
star.
Absolutely, and he deserves it. But nothing in Cleveland happens without LeBron James' blessing. And this clearly was something he had no problem with, and I think he is much happier without him. You're seeing some of those career numbers, all-time highs, which I think is going to help him get that MVP this season, because I don't think the finals are in play. I don't think he's going to get the championship this year. And he's looking at his legacy, and he's saying, what can I do to catch MJ? And it's not going to be the finals, the championship rings. It's going to be MVPs, and that's what he wants this season.
This is the first time we worked together, and I agree with everything that you just said.
Right.
Jackie McMullen is one of my favorite NBA reporters, and I don't think I can remember a single time where she wrote something in one of these great journalistic pieces that she does, and it came back that it was wrong or incorrect even a little bit. And I thought it was really interesting that she said that back in June, the Cavs actually tried to trade Kyrie back then. And that's been a detail that hasn't been reported up until this point. And like you said, if that's true, which I do believe it is because Jackie wrote it, LeBron signed off on it. LeBron wanted Kyrie to be traded back in June. So why, again, would any of us be upset that Kyrie said, okay, I want to leave here? And also, like you said, I think LeBron realizes that a championship's probably not in the cards this year, and get an MVP. Kind of get closer to Michael Jordan. And it's a lot easier to do that when you take one of the best players off your team.
I actually talked about that trade on your show, The Herd. I said that one of the reasons he wanted to be traded was he found out that they had talked about trading for Paul George at the draft, and he assumed LeBron knew about it. Because, like you said, nothing happens without LeBron knowing. Now, LeBron didn't shoot it down, but he also didn't say, let's trade Kyrie. LeBron was just like, that's interesting. And exploring a trade is different than shopping a guy. To think they shopped Kyrie Irving is ridiculous. But they also understood we have to get better, and we lost 4-1. We can get better, and Indiana brought Paul George to them, and they looked at it. But at the end of the day, what happened? They didn't do it. So to quote LeBron James in Jackie's great piece, he said, that makes absolutely no sense. To think he didn't want Kyrie Irving, if LeBron had had his druthers, this team comes back as it was.
So why didn't he fight for him, Chris?
He would have.
He demanded a trade.
No.
He didn't demand a trade?
If what you were saying is true, that back then they were exploring this trade and they went to LeBron and LeBron didn't say no, that's just as bad.
Why is it just as bad? It's Paul George. It wasn't Jay Crowder. It was Paul George.
He didn't do anything to, A, keep Kyrie there, or B, once that trade didn't happen, to make Kyrie feel comfortable.
Well, because right after that, Kyrie said, I want out. And then Kyrie didn't want to talk to him.
Right. Well,
Kyrie said he's not going to.
So who are you blaming here? Are you blaming Kyrie or LeBron?
I'm not blaming anybody because, one, I think Cleveland is fine right now.
Oh.
I think they're better now. Kyrie's
better
the best.
without Kyrie
Kyrie is the best player in that trade, but Isaiah Thomas can give you essentially what Kyrie did.
Chris.
And you got Jay Crowder. Here's the thing. Jay Crowder's going to be huge for that team because Kyle Korver can't play against the Warriors. And now you lost one of your best three-point shooters. Jay Crowder can hit the three and defend, so he can replace Kyle Korver. Isaiah, again, not as good as Kyrie, but he gives you plenty that Kyrie didn't. Number one, he gets to the foul line. Last year, almost twice as much as Kyrie. Over his career, always has gotten there more. Number two, you could argue he's a better passer. He's more of a playmaker for other guys than Kyrie. His career assists and season assists are far higher than Kyrie's. Kyrie's got the team he wants. He's the true point guard. He's averaging fewer than 5 assists a game. So I'm just saying, this team is fine.
He doesn't even play 20 minutes, and he's so excited.
No, I'm looking at his career.
But here's one of the things I love about LeBron is that he's very involved in his locker rooms, wherever he's been. He likes to get everybody together. He's very much into the team vibe, and I think he has a great pulse on every locker room that he's been in. And why wouldn't he, if he started to see some of this dysfunction creep in, why wouldn't he pull Kyrie aside and try to build him up and try to prevent this from happening? If you knew there was starting to be some sort of rift, why wouldn't you call him aside and say, hey, we could do something really special, keep him happy, talk about your future,
this was
all of
Kyrie
these.
Irving's team. They drafted him #1 overall to be the guy in Cleveland, and then they trade for LeBron because you can't pass that up.
Well,
and it's like it's not your team anymore, Kyrie. It's LeBron's team. So obviously, I think there was some bitterness on Kyrie's side.
Well, that's
and
LeBron
LeBron should have worked to fix that.
Well,
And I don't think he has to do the Dwayne Wade, here's the keys and all that stuff. But you have to work the relationship. Because I disagree with you, because the Isaiah Thomas, as great as it was last night, and seeing him come back was awesome. I'm very curious to see how it works in a 7-game series. What happens in crunch time if there's a last possession? Who's handling the ball? Who's got it in their hands? That's an awkward situation that we haven't seen play out yet. And we've seen it work with Kyrie. That's why I would challenge on that.
Well, all I'm saying is, to think LeBron did not want Kyrie there is ridiculous. And to think that if the Cavs come to you and say, look, we can get Paul George for Kyrie, to think you don't sit back and say, that ain't bad. I mean, who wouldn't say that ain't bad? Did you win it last year? Did you win it?
All right.
You can get to the finals
We gotta
without
move
Paul
on.
George or
All right,
Kyrie.
relax.